Right, good Saturday morning. It's the 12th of July 2014 and we are here gathered at the Christchurch University Canterbury for the International Conference Underpinning Christian Education and Values. Look forward to a wonderful weekend. It began yesterday, Friday the 11th, and will run through to Sunday the 13th, I think. Of course, I will be presenting a paper on Sunday at about 10:50 entitled Educational Career Sustainability, Exploring What Sustains a Life in Teaching Despite Secularizing Context and Frequently Changing Government Policy and Framework. So we look forward to that. All in all, wonderful weekend. Last year, this time we were in Liverpool for the conference at the Liverpool Hope University. So look forward to a wonderful weekend here as we engage and network with other doctoral students and professors, supervisors along this journey. Thank you. Enjoy this presentation. In addition to Old Session House, this is where the journey started for me as well. Thinking about 2005, we had quite a few classes here for the bachelors. In fact, over this side we also had the uniform, the gowns sorted for the graduation.
up his name with the sound of singing. Lift up his name in all the earth. Lift up your voice and give him glory. For he is worthy to be praised. For he is worthy to be praised. For my soul, oh my soul, worship his holy name. Sing like never before. Oh my soul, I'll worship your holy name. You're rich in love. You're rich in love, and you're slow to anger. Your name is praised, and your heart is kind. For all your goodness, I will keep on singing. 10,000 reasons for my heart to find. Bless the Lord. And bless the Lord, oh my soul. Oh my soul. Worship his holy name. Sing like never before. Oh my soul, I'll worship your holy name.
Welcome to the final set of 3 presentations, and we will have in order Phillip O'Connor, Howard Worsley and Mark Pike in this session, and looking forward to hearing all that they have to share. I should mention at the outset that I'm one of the punctual Irish. We are a minority among the Irish, but I will be keeping time, and therefore we will have 15 minutes for the presentation, or maybe just a wee bit longer, and the remainder of the half hour for questions and comments in the usual way. Phillip is of this parish. He is doing his EdD here in Canterbury, and he's going to start off by sharing something of the questions he's addressing. Thank you, Phillip.
Okay, good morning, welcome, and good to see you here today. Thank you for attending this session. This presentation summarizes some of the issues I presented in my final Module 7 assignment of the EdD program. I'm very blessed today with a double portion of blessing because my 2 supervisors are here present. So no pressure. This presentation will be edited and presented as a book chapter by the Christianity and Faith Jubilee Cohort. Approaching 10 years of teaching in my present secondary grammar school context and 30 years of teaching in 3 countries, I contemplated the following topic: educational career sustainability, an examination of what sustains a teaching career within a progressively secularizing context, constantly changing policy landscape and professional frameworks. The issue of commercialization, secularization, deprofessionalization, and politicization of education inform a contextual framework within which the educational system operates today. Perceptions of teaching, its nature, function, purpose, are economically, politically, ideologically, professionally, and religiously constructed. Therefore, the interpretations of the definition, its rational role, as well as the judgment of its effectiveness and impact are contextual and open to dissimilar interpretations. These seek to achieve particular goals and outcomes to realize diverse agendas, be they faith-based, political, or ideological, be they romantic, scientific, rational, vocational, or economic in nature. As Eric and Erica 2000 argue, that education both at the teaching and policy levels is distorted and altered by the stipulations and the pressures of modernism and the capitalist culture. Equally problematic are the changing policy landscape and professional frameworks, comprising an assessment culture, perceived unrealistic targets and expectations. Also changes to teachers' pay and conditions, students' behavioral challenges as Day 2005 and others stipulate, including low aspirations, apathy, and indifference. These can all make sustaining a teaching career problematic. In fact, research suggests that only a quarter of teachers in England continue to teach until they retire. That's study by Hutchins in 2010. He also states that in England, the number of teachers leaving the profession before their retirement age is higher than that in France, Germany, the Netherlands, Portugal, and in Hong Kong. Yet within this milieu, various pathways to teaching have been established to attract, recruit, and retain suitably qualified individuals to the profession. However, a question of motivation for entering the profession is a reasonable interrogatory underpinning as sustainability may be subsequently influenced. Alexander in 2008, for example, claims that teaching involves the broader issue of motives. Worsley 2013 argues also that an initial examination of our motivation for teaching is helpful. My view is that motive clarification, attitude, values, beliefs might guide and sustain a resilient approach through the inevitable challenges and vicissitudes of teaching. However, research also suggests that the circumstance under which a teacher's career is selected does not necessarily have a direct link with further job satisfaction or persistent in the job. Tals and others in 2011. The challenge of functioning within a progressively secularizing context also adds a dimension of complexity, particular to teachers with a religious faith, according to Coolin 2002. Research by Bryan and Revel in 2011 of religious education teacher trainees suggests that although issues of identity and faith are considered personally important, they fail to contribute to a perception of what constitutes a good teacher. This perception embraces a new professional worldview of teaching, which celebrates rationality and objectivity as benchmarks. However, Hertz 1971 claims that objective reasoning should be the hallmark of educational reflection, not Christian beliefs, as such quest is a kind of nonsense. So to further illuminate these and contextualize these issues identified, I have employed 5 questions that I use to structure my essay, which you can have a quick look at. However, for the purposes of this presentation, I will simply summarize some of the issues mentioned therein. To begin with, educationally, perceptions and challenges are many and varied, and various research have been done in this area. But some of the issues identified include the academy's active competition, the standards agenda, the assessment culture, as are identified by Worsley 2013. However, teachers' perceptions and interpretations of these may embolden or discourage a position of resilience as we are shaped by the stories of our life experiences, contributing to the meta-narrative of our identities. Adopting a traditional custodian worldview or a new professional stance of objectivity, rationality, and neutrality may also affect sustainability. For example, Carr in 2000 cites significant and illuminating tensions, as well as interesting differences of emphasis between the vocational and professional outlook. Here, the characterization of the vocational highlight a significant continuity between occupational role and private values and concerns, embracing the concept of ministry with lives given over to the service of others. However, the professional variation embraces a more impersonally regulated and constructed one in the alleged interest of clients, upon very precise separation of the professional from private concerns. Another issue relates to academic attainment and career advancement in one's own teaching context, And here, I would note that this may be informed by the performance management regime of a school or the threshold application regime of the school, where additional qualifications gained may not necessarily contribute to career progression in that context. This, for some teachers, might totally eliminate several senior positions in the pretext of modernization, effectiveness, and efficiency savings. I would suggest, while various economic and educational contexts might necessitate a correction to reflect the harsh economic recessionary climate, tenets of emotional intelligence, empathy, care, authenticity, respect, and appreciation for the well-being, ambition, perceptions of teachers must be embraced and encouraged. The macro-political landscape and ideological positioning of senior leadership teams can also compromise any claim to professional autonomy, as the established leadership and structure and the management of the school can dictate the well-being or satisfaction or otherwise of teachers. Additionally, the process of change management in school, implementation of policies, consultation or confrontation, lesson observation regimes, frequency interpretations of Ofsted frameworks can all contribute to the profession being deprofessionalized, thus limiting autonomy, according to Whitty in 2000. So whilst teaching and educational standards might be established and upheld, Ofsted's ambiguity and perceived legalistic, inflexible, and uncaring character does little to contribute to the ethos of and the well-being of the school. If we just move on quickly, besides the economic and educational factors, my second question looks at the inherent issues and tensions implicit in bringing my Christian faith into the educational context. And this area also is well documented. Nonetheless, despite the conflicts of the place or the problematic nature of the association of faith and professionalism, there should nevertheless be a respectful appreciation of one's life-shaping biblical beliefs as a resource to be utilized in education rather than a problem to be privatized or to be managed, according to Coolin. Furthermore, liberal, radical, or secular approaches should not be presented as rational, neutral, or educationally superior. It is also important that shared goals are not in conflict with one's own meta-narrative to avoid being personally compromised. And here I like what Coolin suggests, the concept of courageous restraint, where he defines this as controlling one's natural and legitimate inclinations to propagate a faith position, but in order to respect others' meta-narrative. So my third question quickly looks at some of the features of my educational approach and meta-narrative that influence my teaching. It is well established that we do bring ourselves and our stories to the teaching experiences. And my evangelical Christian experiences form a part of that meta-narrative, as well as my ministry, vocational positioning on teacher professionalism and hence sustainability. A new professional approach fails to celebrate diversity of teaching approaches drawn from different cultures and beliefs positions, but tend to mold teachers into what Barnes called an inflexible clones of rigid top-down imperatives, further describing it as cold, mechanical, robotic, inflexible, and as a one-size-fits-all approach. So consequently, I am concerned with the intangible, immeasurable long-term impact. For example, the indelibly influences stamped on the hearts and minds of students, the care and empathy shown, the mutual respect earned, the distinctive impressions made hardly measurable by levels of a 20-minute drop-in, drop-out session by Ofsted. I'm also concerned about the respectful relationship formed by potential for continuing association as adults, the inspiration and motivation engendered, the originality and authenticity of teaching styles and personality embedded in one pedagogy. Question 4. There are also additional changes and conflicts and challenges presented by this context. And here we find education has become a commodity used to fuel the economy, simultaneously turning children into products. Such pedagogy and curriculum generally influenced by a worldview of teacher professionalism, increasingly external influences and educational policy centralization. Government policies motivated by political ideologies, short-term goals politically motivated, do shape practice reduce teacher autonomy and further undervalue them? Why change what is working? Is it self-aggrandizement, insecurity, or policy ownership? Carr notes that the recent central pressures and external pressures have greatly undermined the teacher's powers, reducing the profession to a mere mechanical execution of other people's design. So, for further contemplation, I know you should be asking the questions in a little while, but I put a few to you to contemplate, which I will not read. So these in my essay are some of the issues that I actually put forward for further contemplation. Okay, and sadly I'll have to move on. But just to wrap things up, the question to me then is, what then, despite these challenges, whether it's progressively secularizing contexts or changing policy landscape or behavior issue, apathy, indifference, professional frameworks, what for me personally sustained a career in teaching? The place of my personal beliefs and values, including aspiration, perseverance, empathy, care, respect, and love, plus the support of colleagues, in addition to my faith position, and these do contribute to a position of influence and by extension sustainability. Also, unashamedly adopting and embracing a vocational or ministry worldview of teaching guides a perspective of passion and purpose through professional career changes, ambiguities, and vicissitudes. Furthermore, my teaching experience in a wide variety of schools in 3 countries over approximately 30 years have implications for respect, diversity, flexibility, openness to various approaches, cultural and religious appreciation. Furthermore, controversially perhaps, a desire to inspire, influence, guide, motivate students to achieve their highest potential. But teaching cannot be merely technical, mechanical, outcome-driven. We're inspiring people, human beings, whose processes, development, and unique meta-narrative do matter. Therefore, by examining these professional questions, these issues of sustainability, my professional journey, teaching approaches and meta-narrative, I have been influenced and challenged in sustaining a teaching career to the extent that greater flexibility, openness, raised awareness of and empathy for students' circumstances, and understanding of a wider context of pluralism and secularization, greater respect for others' values and beliefs while embracing my core commitments, non-negotiable positions, and biblically inspired, pedagogically inspired approaches. Greater voice also given to students and stakeholders for their own perspectives and contributions to better appreciate and understand, as Tabor 2007 puts it, existing beliefs, knowledge, and experience.
Back to you. Folks, thank you, Philip, and over to you for questions and comments.
Right, so today is Sunday, it's the 13th of July 2014. Just finished the presentation, the conference paper. Presented my first academic paper. And I'm in the lecture theatre at about 25 30 people maximum present, and just done that and had a little bite to eat. Now we have one more session, the very last one, and this is just for us, the Jubilee cohort of the ED program. So this one is about writing for publication, and the module 7 assignment which we submitted. We'll be meeting now with 2 of the lecturers, stroke editors of that program, and they'll be helping us with the issue of editing that assignment and to bring it up to the level and the standard required for publication. Also, we'll be looking at other issues regarding publishing and writing for publication. So that's what it's all about right now. I'm just gonna attend the session from now 2 o'clock until 5 this evening.
We didn't agree to that.
Brilliant. Any chicken?
You don't get it for free if you do that.
I know.
Any chicken, yeah?
Chicken?
Yeah, go for it, mate.
Hey,
You did a good job. You did a really good job. That's the thing.